Hiking lions. So we're going to be talking about the food chain in Egypt along the Nile River, where there lived freshwater crocodiles. What I've actually learned just recently is that although the Nile River is freshwater, because of pollution, salt water is starting to get into the Nile, which is causing some difficulty in the ecosystem. So that's something to think about, and maybe you want to do a little bit more research on. So this is a map of the Nile, and you can see where the Nile River is and how it flows here down Egypt, through the Sudan, South Sudan, Uganda, down to Lake Victoria. And so we're going to look at some of the animals that are native to the Nile River and build a food chain from that information. So these are actual photos of the Nile River to give you an idea of what the land around it is like. We know that the Nile River floods, which produces fertile soil because it brings the soil up from the bottom of the river. But we notice that there are some grasslands, there's some desert, there's lots of trees. So there are lots of different habitats around the Nile River that would allow for a wide variety of animals to survive. We're going to be talking today about the crocodile, the Egyptian crocodile, which would be different from others. But we know that the Egyptian crocodile is at the top of the food chain, and it eats really anything at once. These are some producers that would be found in and around the Nile, and we know producers are the beginning, usually a plant source. These are organisms that get their energy. They grow energy from the sun. They do not consume anything. So we have algae, we have some grass, we have flowers that all are producers. They start the flow of energy in the food chain. The first step, something that consumes the producer, would be either an herbivore or an omnivore. So think about what those two terms mean and how herbivores, we remember, eat only plants. Omnivores would eat plants or other organisms. So there could be multiple steps in the food chain at this level. So these are all animals that are native to the Nile area. There are animals that live in the water, the fish. There are animals that live both in the water and on the land. And then there are animals that live pretty much just on the land or in the air in the case of the bird. The next step would be a consumer, a carnivore. So this is the level of the food chain where these animals would eat only other animals. So you're not going to see a hyena sitting down and eating a plant, probably. You would not see this particular, I think it's an African knife fish is what that's called. You wouldn't, that African knife fish would eat other fish. It's not going to eat the algae. The diet of the Nile crocodiles is mainly fish, but it will attack almost anything unfortunate enough to cross its path, including zebras, small hippos, porcupines, birds, and other crocodiles. It will also scavenge carrion and can eat up to half its body weight at a feeding. So that means that if you weigh 80 pounds, you could eat up to 40 pounds at each meal. So think about how much a crocodile might weigh and how much it would eat. That's a lot of food. And anything that gets in its path, so the word unfortunate means unlucky. So even humans, it would consume a human if it got in the way. So those are some ideas for your food chain. And I would love to see what you come up with. Have a great day.